those candidates are winning who knows how the game should be played.
Recruitment and finding a job can be highly stressful.
Maybe you are a very strong candidate, but to show that you are a strong candidate, you need to end up in the interview.
Yeah, there's no point being half-hearted about that.
How do you do it?
Probably ask my husband about that more than me.
Candidate, be ready that a recruiter can approach you anywhere.
And not being too enthusiastic.
Jennifer knows everything about the game.
Silence isn't always rejection.
Let's help people to be founded by us. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Talent Insider podcast, a place where we talk about careers in iGaming, recruitment, industry trends, and actually everything that's happening behind the scenes of this market. My name is Iryna Glova, and I'm head of Growe Talents, a recruitment agency specializing in finding and matching top talents with the top iGaming companies worldwide. Today's episode is called Behind the Talent Market, and if you're the one who've ever applied for a job, was wondering what's happening behind the scenes, behind the hiring decisions, what's happening after your interview and after your job applications, and who is actually taking all these hiring decisions, this one episode is for you. Today's my guest is someone very special. It's not just someone who knows the talent market from inside, but someone who actually helped to shape it. Jennifer and Ines have joined BettingJobs in 2006 as their very first female employee, and now she is the CEO, leading the company global growth and strategy. Jennifer was behind the major international expansion, was recognized the most influential woman in iGaming, and now under her leadership, BettingJobs was called the Recruiter of the Year. Jennifer, it's such a honor to have you with us. Thanks for coming, and hello.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction and also for the possibility to join you today. I really appreciate the opportunity to dive into some of these topics, which, as you said, for many, the answers may be unclear. Yeah.
I hope will be very helpful for a lot of candidates today and will open the doors for new opportunities to a lot of them. So actually, let's start with a quick warm up. We prepared like 3 questions to start before we move to the main part.
Okay.
I believe everyone who knows you will agree with me that you are a very busy woman, but at the same time, you remember about everything. You remember about every detail. You don't forget about any special occasion. You are greeting with each holiday. Once you are coming to Dubai, you are meeting so many of your clients. You don't forget about me. How do you do it? How you can be such a busy woman, but at the same time, keep everything in your mind and actually how the working day.
I think you need to ask. Yeah, probably ask my husband about that more than me. I honestly think it just comes from caring about what I do and taking pride in what we do, yeah. And your relationships with people, or if you're trying to cultivate meaningful relationships, yeah, there's no point being half-hearted about that. I really enjoy all of the conversations and the meetings and the client and the opportunities for travel this industry has presented me, and it's quite a privilege to be able to help someone find a new position. Yeah, I'm in a privileged position, actually.
Approximately how the working day looks like for you right now?
First, coffee, always, in the morning. And then typically I get my children out to work, or my children out to school, sorry. And then I start my working day clearing the emails, the LinkedIn messages, the Teams conversations. During the course of any day, I always try to keep in touch with the candidates that were involved in recruitment processes. It's really important for me to feel like I'm part of that journey with the candidates, to make sure they have everything they need ahead of their interviews, because recruitment and finding a job can be highly stressful, and if you've got someone that is going through that with you, yeah, then it can hopefully take some of the weight off the shoulders. I'll also have multiple follow-up meetings with clients about their stages in recruitment processes and taking feedback, meetings with my team members to align on priorities and what people are going to work on during any given day, and also with our finance manager and marketing manager, just to make sure that the invoices are being sent out and paid on time or we're up to date with the conferences that we want to attend or social media posts and things. So yeah, always a busy day. It's never a 9 to 5.
Quite intense. Are you sure your day is 24 hours? I believe it's
yeah, well, the industry is global, of course, so even when I'm in bed, doesn't mean that someone on the other side of the world isn't searching for a staff member or going through an interview or searching for a position of their own. So yeah, you have to recognise that. Learning to switch off actually is, I could probably be better at that myself, yeah. I suppose we all could. So,
Yeah, you are in the industry for quite a long time. Can you name something what really has changed in the hiring market for last 2-3 years, like really significantly changed?
Yeah, trying to think about this actually, and I guess post-COVID, things have changed. There's always peaks and troughs in terms of the volume of remote-based vacancies that we work on versus clients wanting to come back to office environments. The one key change, though, that stands out is, of course, artificial intelligence and the use of AI, either in recruitment processes for screening purposes or nowadays as part of the interview process itself, like it or not.
Everywhere. I was wondering, is there some industry or some position or some person who will tell me like, no, I didn't have any impact on me, no, I even didn't notice that it came to our lives. I believe it's just everywhere and it really has influence on everyone.
But they're never going to replace a human interaction or a conversation. I don't believe that. I still believe that there will continue to be a value in working with a recruitment agency or a strong recruitment consultant or partner, because you cannot replace human interaction when you're dealing with human beings. Yeah.
People need people.
People want to interact with people, you know. I don't think we will be completely replaced by AI.
Agree, 100%. After as well so many years in iGaming and in BettingJobs, what something that excites you the most in iGaming during all this time?
Well, the real reason that I continue to do the role is just the people in the sector. You know, I've already said I have a really privileged position and that I get to help people on a daily basis when they're searching for something so important, you know, a career choice, finding a new role. I speak to people from all different cultures, walks of life, globally. Often people within this industry have a modern, positive, entrepreneurial spirit, and I find that infectious, and it makes me want to continue working in this sector. Yeah, for sure.
Once actually we've reached to Jennifer about this podcast, I asked about the topics, and Jennifer told that I was talking about iGaming all my life, actually about regulations, right? Jennifer knows everything about iGaming. We decided to go a little bit different directions and to talk about hiring process by itself, of course from iGaming perspective, of course about hiring process in iGaming, but actually we will not be talking today about regulation, Gibraltar, etc. We'll open some what's happening behind the scenes of hiring to our candidates. Yes. So actually, maybe we'll start from some, not the very pleasant part, but it's happening, and a lot of candidates are getting rejections at some point. Sometimes they really can have very solid background, a very solid experience, but still that got rejection, and sometimes even maybe some silence in response. Yep. Jennifer, how do you think why it's happening, and is it happening?
One of the key reasons would be your CV. I guess it's supposed to be a reflection of your skills and expertise. So many times I've seen CVs where actually a candidate has moved location and it's not reflected on the CV, or potentially they have sent me a CV in Spanish or French and I don't speak that language, sadly, so I can do nothing but discount that application, because I cannot be sure that that person might speak English during an interview. Another thing to say is be sure to be clear on the iGaming industry buzzwords. If you're working for a platform provider, if you're working for a company that has a Curacao license or an MGA license, or indeed if you are working in a commercial position for a smaller, perhaps lesser known platform provider, it can be useful to list the names of some of your clients so that your CV stands out, and the AI chatbot that's looking through your CV, or the talent acquisition manager who may not know of that company, can really understand that you're working in the industry. A few others might be, and we experience this quite frequently, often operators or suppliers have within themselves non-poaching agreements that even their own staff members might not be aware of. Many suppliers, for example, have gentlemen's agreements in place between one another not to poach one another's staff. It will often come as a surprise to some candidates when I say I've received your CV, but I can't share your CV with the client because it would immediately be rejected on the basis not of your skill set, but on the basis of this agreement that's already in place. Some other intricacies can be visa processes or working permits. We've seen this immediately after Brexit. For example, where British nationals, it was unclear how they would secure working permits or visas in Spain or Gibraltar, Malta, Cyprus, Romania, Poland, where there's many iGaming companies. So in the face of that uncertainty, many companies would choose to hire or prioritise candidates from within the EU as opposed to considering British nationals where things were unclear from a visa capacity. The same is true in the Middle East as well. I'm sure you've experienced that, Iryna, where for some nationalities it's far easier to secure the working visa than others.
For sure, so many factors. And sometimes really candidates, I think that it's just because of them and because of their skills, but in real life, it's just majority of different factors which are having some influence on that. And I would think, well, sometimes some clients, they just need a specific, for example, nationality because they need a local, expertise, local language for some market. But for example, in LinkedIn, we cannot post and write that we need, a special Spanish nationality because LinkedIn will block us and will think that we are, kind of racist. But if we are just receiving CVs from completely different nationalities that we need, unfortunately, yes, it doesn't matter which skills a candidate can help, but it will be rejected because there's nothing best.
With all things considered, if a vacancy is available in Cyprus and there's one candidate in Gibraltar and there's one candidate in Cyprus, then of course the Cypriot-based candidate will receive the interview or receive the response to their application. First of all, that's just the reality of things, all things considered.
I was thinking as well from the perspective that some candidates are thinking that they are competing with everyone at the same time, but in real hiring process they are competing with different people in different stages, and the hiring process is very with some layers and with some filters. So in each stage you need to play a completely different way and a different game. So let's say if maybe you are a very strong candidate, but to show that you are a strong candidate, you need to end up in the interview. But to end up in the interview, you need to pass the CV screening process. And in CV screening process, you don't need to write your 20 years of experience, but you need to be very clear and to show what exactly is matching with the role you're applying to. During the interview with the recruiter, you need to show your deep thinking and actually as well to show how you match with the basic requirements for the role. But for example, in final interview with hiring manager, you need already to show an impact and influence. So actually in different stages, really candidates can be rejected because of different reasons, and those candidates are winning who knows how the game should be played.
Because every step of the way, as you say, it's important to have the CV accurate, as I've just mentioned, in order to pass the CV sifting stage. to when you're speaking to a recruiter, I guess your personality and your desire and interest in the position. Oftentimes, if recruiters feel like you're perhaps just looking for a pay rise from your current employer or something, and a waste of that recruiter's time to share your CV, then that can of course have an impact on the outcome of the process for the candidate. Yeah, and other important factors, as you say, if you during the interview process are not only being interviewed by your potential manager, but your peers, the group of individuals who you will join, then it's about judging and reading the room and not being too enthusiastic or being able to mirror sometimes their personalities in order to ensure that they believe that they can work alongside you.
Usually people, when they think about being strong candidate, it's equivalent for them to have very cool hard skills. But hard skills are just part of the skills which are evaluated during the hiring process. And sometimes just maybe the reason is culture match, or values match, maybe some soft skills which are very, very important for this role. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad candidate, but he doesn't match exactly this role, and it can be a rejection.
That's right. Yeah, I can count in one hand how many candidates that have applied and got the role that they actually applied for. More often when you're working with a recruitment consultant or recruitment agency, it's about speaking to that person and creating that relationship of value with the consultant, and they understand your preferences and what your agenda is when searching for a new, and then allowing them to match you to the positions.
We actually already agreed on rejections, but silence can happen sometimes. Does it actually mean that your application wasn't seen?
After receiving, for example, 10 CVs, they may put on pause their recruitment process or they want to see things through in relation to that initial 10 candidates. So it may be that you are the perfect candidate, just not applying at the right time. So the client would want to see things through and go through the interviews and the CV process with those candidates before opening up to other applications. So other factors can be that there are internal applications as well, depending on the size of the organisation. Potentially someone that was unwilling to relocate at first has now changed their mind, or something has happened and they can now consider that role or want to put themselves forward for promotion.
Nowadays, recruiters are becoming more and more professional, and they are looking at this site to give a feedback, because usually candidates are paying much attention on this, and we are trying, and I know how you work. All your recruiters are trying to give any kind of feedback, even if it's rejection, but they will not miss the candidate's application. But I believe that majority of applications really which didn't get response maybe just were not seen by recruiters and were filtered by AI, like you told. In some
That's right. Yeah.
Companies are using AI, but for example, candidates is not using AI for CV and keywords.
Right,
Just
yeah.
mentioned
the wrong filter questions, and then the right candidate is missed. Yeah, absolutely. And again, that goes back to what I said about the CV and being mindful about whose eyes are reviewing the CV. Are you ensuring that you use the buzzwords that will make sure someone sits up and pays attention to the CV, or it packs the punch accordingly? Silence isn't always rejection, especially in large organisations as well, where things do take time and decisions can take time. Yeah, silence isn't always rejection.
Talking actually about silence or rejections, it means that candidates are applying somewhere, usually in job boards. But of course, nowadays, hiring doesn't live only in job boards, LinkedIn, or like some classic search. Is there like some kind of hidden market, or why is it happening, or maybe some other channels where a candidate can look for a job?
Again, just reflecting on this, job boards for us become almost our last resort, really. As I said, we work with candidates. Yes, they may apply for a position on our website, but it's our job to register that candidate, talk to them about their experiences and their preferences in terms of working from home, or if they like an office environment. if they are looking purely for a salary increase or if they're looking for, some form of promotion. It's about the ability to match the candidate with roles as they become available and understand the market and understand our clients' needs. There could be preferences given to candidates that speak certain languages or use certain tools. It's just that the black and white confines of a job description can't really describe all of that accurately. And then as well, personality fit as well. You have some candidates that might prefer, they would work best in a more entrepreneurial environment where it's not just 9 to 5 and they're really passionate about the growth of the organisation and take that really seriously, whereas others might prefer that 9 to 5 and like the work-life balance and like the more corporate structured roles. These things are not always advertised.
Why agencies like BettingJobs can help some exclusive vacancies? Why, for example, company didn't publish this position, but BettingJobs is looking for these positions?
Roles are required to remain confidential because they don't want those kind of secrets being given out to market until they find a suitable replacement. Some leadership roles stay confidential because potentially the company founder is looking to exit the business and they don't want to create instability. Perhaps they are still going to be involved, but until they can find a suitable replacement for themselves, then they don't want to create, so-called instability amongst their team who are doing well and set up extremely well. Other reasons can be that there are things pending, such as gaming licenses or investment or additional funding or even a desire to open new offices in other locations. So without that license or without securing the office, etc., then roles again required to remain confidential, sometimes for fear of competitors knowing where you're pivoting as well. Company might not want their competitors to know that their next target market is XYZ region for fear of someone else doing it faster or trying to claim that market instead.
It's very difficult actually to work with confidential positions because candidate wants to know a lot of details about the role, about founders, and especially the more higher the role is, especially like for example level role, they want to know each detail, and then we need to hide till the end a lot of things. So I believe that if we continue search in just classic job boards or LinkedIn, we will never find these people. So maybe let's help people to be founded by us, by agencies. Except of job boards, what do you usually use? Which channels to find candidates, to headhunt candidates? So we will tell candidates where to go and where to sit and wait for a recruiter to reach them.
Yeah, overwhelmingly it's LinkedIn. Yeah, we do use some smaller job boards in the UK, as well as some iGaming job boards that we partner with. But overwhelmingly, the majority of placements that we make are either candidates that apply via LinkedIn. I will caveat that to say though that often the candidate applies for a position, they do not get the job that they apply for, but they are then registered with BettingJobs recruitment agency. We register the candidate and become aware of their preferences, and then our consultants take that information to match them with roles. So again, another reason for registering with a recruitment agency and sharing your preferences and your CVs.
But I was thinking about candidates, like why they don't reach agencies more, because first of all, it's free. Usually companies are those who are paying for hires. You can receive this career consultation, as you told. You can maybe apply for one job, but then you are coming to agencies and you're talking to a very great recruitment professional, and then he is navigating you through the market. He is telling you which job maybe will match you better, and he has a lot of options, not only one position in one company, and he can really give you better options. Then agencies, they know how to present the skills, how to present the previous background, and actually there are more chances that the company will candidate.
Over the last few months, the amount of times that I've reshared candidate CVs and said to the candidate, did you see this person? Are you sure you don't want to interview them? And the amount of times that the hiring manager has missed the CV. It's really important to work with a recruitment consultant that has your best interests at heart and can, where appropriate, push and share your CV again, just to make sure you can be part of the process. We've had quite a few successes recently, actually, by sort of pushing back or ensuring that the candidate's CV has been seen if we really believe that they should be interviewed, for sure.
I believe not all the candidates know that it's not only the recruiter who is taking the decision about their hires, or not only the hiring manager. Please open this door and tell, if you can, who is actually behind all this hiring process and who is taking the hiring decisions, so candidates will know the real picture how it is.
Sometimes I wish I knew exactly the answer to that myself as well. That would be great. I think, yes, oftentimes the recruitment consultant acts as the first filter for applications, depending on the companies as well. It can be their own talent acquisition person that we share a CV with, or in some instances HR, or directly to a company owner, who all themselves have different preferences or protocols that they want to follow, and different timelines that they may want to follow as well.
Usually, because candidates are thinking that there is a recruiter who let's say didn't give a feedback, and there is a hiring manager, like two participants. But in real life, it's a recruiter. It can be a recruitment agency, external, who is involved. It can be hiring manager plus other parts of the team. And I actually like this trend very much when a company is invited other team members, for example, for the final interview, to see how they will interact in the team and actually to show everyone to each other. There is, for example, sometimes people partner or HR business partner who can be completely silent during this interview, but they can already evaluate how will you work together and how your types are matching. Will you be this puzzle actually working? It can be as well like some C-level who are taking care about budgets, about hiring strategy, and sometimes all these people are involved in taking all the decisions, but then suddenly the business is changing faster than the hiring strategy, and this role is on hold, or there is no budget anymore, or the market is closing, and so many factors.
And even in a small industry, although the iGaming industry is truly global, the iGaming industry is still quite small and interconnected, so your reputation can precede you oftentimes as well. If you work for a brand where your projects that you've been involved in, the hiring manager has followed them and followed your success, then decisions can be made on that purely as well, and maybe interactions at conferences or events that you were unaware of at the time might inform some meetings or interview scenarios at a later date. It's so interconnected, the industry, and oftentimes you cross paths with many people at conferences, events, or LinkedIn conversations, and you don't know what's, maybe they're going to lead to something further down the line.
Once you just told about conferences, I remembered about all other channels for hiring, because I wanted to encourage candidates to be actually everywhere. And the hiring now is happening really not only in job boards, but everywhere where the people spending their time. And it can be really different channels. It can be these conferences with different events. It can be threads. It can be TikTok. It can be Instagram. It can be some Facebook group. I just was speaking to some people, and they're hiring through Discord. To be honest, we never did it, but I know that they already doing it. And I believe that really candidate be ready that recruiter can approach you anywhere. And if you are leaving somewhere your contact, let's say Telegram or WhatsApp contact, be ready that you can be reached via this contact, because you are leaving it for public, and anyone can write.
Right, exactly. And so many iGaming specific WhatsApp groups as well, for women in gaming, or for people that have interests in marketing or predictive markets or crypto, or there's so many different channels that you can follow on WhatsApp. One other thing that came to mind there as well, in the same way that it's up to a recruitment consultant to cultivate a relationship or to kind of assess whether a candidate is suitable, candidates can absolutely do the same with a recruitment consultant. If you feel that they're not working with your best interests at heart, or you feel like they are not communicating or not giving you accurate information, then find someone that will come back to you, that will have your best interests at heart. And I can assure you that myself and my team team do try their very best to come back to people, to be giving feedback on CVs, on interviews where we absolutely are given it. Oftentimes with the best will in the world, we are also ghosted by clients. This happens to us all.
What do you think usually candidates misunderstand about the hiring process, and maybe you will give some advice to them?
Maybe the key thing is just what we discussed earlier, is that sometimes silence doesn't mean that they've been rejected from a process. There can be so many other factors at play, biding your time. Sometimes if you apply for lots of positions and expecting a response, the best thing to do is create a relationship with a recruitment consultant, and they can suggest positions for you. Misconceptions can be that anyone has the power in the process as well. As we said, there can be external influencing factors. Investment may not come, or promise of investment is elongated. Licenses can be delayed as well. So again, the fact that you maybe don't hear back, or that things go on pause, doesn't mean that the company should be discounted or that your application has been discounted. Just that there are other factors at play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe we can continue with you for 2-3 more hours. Flies so fast, but we are already talking for more than an hour, planned for 1 hour, and we have still two more parts. So one part is Blitz, fiery questions. Yes. Just you can answer in a very short way, whatever first comes to your mind. And after Blitz, we are having some questions from our audience. We made some posts before our podcast and asked our audience to ask wherever they want. We do have some questions. We need to answer them. So let's start.
Yeah.
It's first, yeah? So what's the biggest change you've seen in recruitment since 2006?
I think we have moved away from an industry where the hubs were just purely Malta, Gibraltar, London, to an industry that's truly global. If you told me a few years ago that there would be iGaming hubs, the Middle East, for example, I probably would have laughed, but changes in regulation, changes in products have meant that the industry is completely global now, which is fantastic.
One word to describe today's talent market.
I was going to be cheeky here and say 2 words, the same as above: truly global. Yeah, there is so much talent, and there are roles and there are clients in the iGaming sector all over the world.
What is the hardest role to hire for an iGaming right now?
I think we discussed this earlier. Probably roles where there is a lack of information. So salary brackets is probably the key thing. It's really important for the consultant to know what a client's salary bracket is, and equally it's important for the candidate to be aware of what they're going to get paid. Otherwise we just waste everyone's time.
Or when the company doesn't know what exactly do they want, or there is something they are hiding from an agency.
Yes, that can be hard to peel the layers. Yeah, that can be hard to peel the layers for sure.
Jennifer, how often do you actually meet truly great talent?
I think I speak to people daily that are great talent. Great talent just need to come at executive level. It can be someone at a junior level who's truly passionate about their career. It can be an entrepreneur with a fantastic idea and really motivated, enthusiastic about their business. And I would describe each one of those, as truly great talent. So yeah, daily.
Lucky you. Fast forward to 2027. Who will be the most wanted hire?
Out of each of the categories that we recruit for, be that legal, product, finance, marketing is always the highest volume of candidates that we place year upon year upon year. I can't see that that's going to change drastically next year.
Biggest upcoming trend in recruitment?
We mentioned this already. AI. AI. We cannot escape it. We cannot discount it. We have to live with it, and hopefully as humans we still continue to have the human interaction when it comes to recruitment processes.
Fingers crossed. No, I'm sure. One tech tool you can't live without.
strange one, maybe not quite tech in some people's eyes, but WhatsApp. For me, you'd be so surprised the amount of recruitment that's done via WhatsApp nowadays. The volume of candidates that send me CVs, clients that leave me voice notes. You have to be available, and I guess WhatsApp allows me to be available. Yeah. Yes.
How do you think one word colleagues would use to describe you?
In preparation for this, I asked a few of the team yesterday and was pleasantly surprised, actually. So one said tenacious, one said passionate, another compassionate, and another connected. So I'll take that, yeah.
One word that sums up BettingJobs success.
Reputation, I think. I hope that our reputation precedes us. Yeah, I believe we have a strong reputation in the market.
The first one, there is a common belief that candidates should always ask for a higher salary because the company will negotiate anyway. From your experience, does this strategy actually work in iGaming, or there is a smarter way to approach it?
So for me, I really don't think that it works to always ask for a super high salary and expect to be negotiated down. I think honesty is always the best policy. There will be instances where, of course, you'll need a higher salary if maybe you're planning to relocate with family. Of course, that's going to come with compensation additions. Maybe if you're moving from a permanent employment contract to a B2B contractor set up in a remote-based position, then of course, if you're going to pay your own pension contributions, gym memberships, pension, then of course you're going to have to ask for a higher salary than what you're earning just now. But being mindful of the marketplace, being mindful of your competition within the market. At the moment, we're hearing about a lot of redundancies globally as well. So there is an abundance of talent in the market. So I fear that this moment in time, if you ask for too high a salary continuously, then you may well price yourself out of the market.
Maybe you will here agree or disagree with me, but to think about three components. First of all, your current salary. Of course, it should be higher. But the second component, so first component, like now or higher than current salary, not less. The second point, not more than 20 or 30% increase. Because actually, once you are switching the company, if you are asking, I don't know, 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger, probably you are really just taking this number out of, of the market, because usually all the companies are doing some salary reviews, some salary ranges, some salary audit on the market, and they know how which company, how much is paying approximately to which positions. And once you are, earning, let's say $1,000 and you're asking for $10,000, the company will know that you are cheating and just trying to take the number. Maybe the third advice is just to really to look at the benchmark as well. Once you're asking for the salary, to be somewhere to ask for a reasonable price, not just to take it. Maybe I'll be lucky and they will give me.
Yeah, many years ago it used to be that you could kind of do salary surveys and there'd be vast differences between different European countries or different, but that's not quite the case anymore. I would argue that a head of casino is paid more or less the same regardless of location. The difference comes more in terms of the company. Is it a startup that you're applying for? Is it a more established business? So again, factoring in all of these things, I don't think that any company, in my experience, is looking to penny pinch or is looking to kind of really negotiate down or they want to bring on talent, in my opinion, and most companies within gaming do have the budget more or less to pay for that. It's just about being realistic.
Dear candidates, please, once you are coming for interview, you need to understand that probably recruiters know approximately how much you are earning now, and if you're telling too much higher number, you can just push away the company or
and it can also seem like you're only money motivated and maybe then join a company and then look to join another straight after. It can kind of create a kind of background of instability or for sure.
The second question, Jennifer, how often do you actually check references from previous employers, and does it depend on the role or level or seniority or what else?
Maybe 50-50. 60-40%. We always do references where asked by by clients for candidates. Oftentimes companies prefer to do the references themselves, even as opposed to us sending out the reference checks, because they want to hear directly from the individual's previous manager or hiring manager what their feedback is. And then, in some larger, more corporate companies, references can simply just be confirming employment dates, which doesn't say too much. It's really important sometimes to have the kind of off the record references that really speak to someone's capability and personality fit. And there's always the idea that, if someone sends references and a CV and cover letter and even proof of educational qualifications, then something there might be falsified, through no fault of the candidates providing that, purely innocently. If you provide all that information, then somehow it can be a red alert,
And how often actually you're using some, I can say, informal connections to check the references? Because sometimes candidate is coming and giving, for example, the last manager contact, or I don't know, the previous HR manager. But let's say you do know someone from their company who actually as well can give you some clear answer. Will you go to this connection? How it's happening?
It happens a lot. And of course, I guess I've been involved in the iGaming industry for so long that quite often it's the case that I will know, or I'll be able to sort of filter through. I can do that if I'm asked, and sometimes it's important, perhaps a decision needs to be made between two candidates and there's not too much to split the difference, then potentially knowing a little more about someone's references or background, or indeed how they have, maybe it's a commercial position and how they've performed at conferences, events, then it's useful for companies to be aware of that. I don't like to do it unless I'm asked, to be honest, because really I try to keep the candidate's confidentiality as well and kind of keep that in mind, but we can do it if asked, and often only done when there's nothing splitting two candidates and a decision being made, basically, if it helps a decision being made in favour of the candidate, not to discount someone from the process, never to be done in that way.
Yeah, actually, I will agree here. I believe that if we have a chance to go to somewhere and ask, we will ask, because it works both sides. If candidate knows someone from inside the company, he will go and ask how the work is there. He will not ask only the recruiter, right? Or let's say hiring manager. He will go, and if he has a connection, he will ask. So actually, maybe not all the time, but I believe candidates should be ready that if it's a person who is on the market for quite a long time and has a lot of network and connection, it can be checked, because it's a clear recruitment process, and you don't need to lie in your CV and during your interviews, and it can be checked and rechecked.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree with you there. If candidates are going to check about a company's reputation and if someone enjoys working there, then of course must expect that it would happen the other way around. Sure.
We've answered all the questions.
Actually,
all the time, just half an hour more. But I really enjoyed talking to you, Jennifer. It was a very honest, I believe, conversation. I hope it will be very helpful to candidates. They can use it and receive really the perfect matches, perfect jobs. Dear people, if you want to see more what's doing this wonderful woman together with her team, please follow her in all the social media and LinkedIn. We will leave all the links in the descriptions to this video. And thanks again, Jennifer, for joining me.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for the conversation. It was really insightful, and I appreciate the invitation to join you today. Yeah, thanks. Hopefully helpful. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching and listening for this podcast. If you like this episode, please follow the Talent Insider and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with someone who is navigating through the hiring market right now. Maybe it's very needed for someone. Thanks for your time, and see you in next episodes.